Welcome to Cat and Don's Scout restoration. 1963 Scout with the 4-cylinder 154 cubic inch engine and a power takeoff winch. So that's the super cool thing. I've already started on it, not really a whole lot. Let me just give you a quick walk around to see what we're dealing with. Lots of rust, and if you think that's lots, let's look under here. You see that? Lots of rust. And just let me show you what it looks like inside. Surface rust on there. Everything is seized. Everything. All the heater controls. Everything like that. So you can see on there all the rust from me just banging around, and it's just, there's no floor left, right? That's my foot. Yeah, so all that gets to be replaced. Other side is a little better, but not. It all gets to be replaced. The rear box, it's covered in plywood, so I have no idea what's underneath it. Anyways, lower fenders are shot. No big surprise there. The back bumper, it's rusted up. The rear corners are actually pretty good, except for down in here. So I'll have to bend up some metal, and there. This one's a little worse. Yeah. This side, basically the same condition. Anyways, this is all about the teardown, stripping it down, getting it down to the frame. Taking off the windshield. It's basically, there's a vacuum hose here for the windshield wipers. There is two bolts on here to actually hold the windshield in place, because this is a fold down windshield. And then there's a series of bolts here, and then the windshield will pop right off. So removing the doors on the Scout, they are just removing it at the hinges. So I'll open this up and I'll show you what the scoop is. So there's two hinges down below and up top. These are held in with Phillips head flat machine screws, and they are from the factory rusted in there. Not really, but mine are. Your best bet is try to reach from the other side, from inside the wheel well, and see if you can reach in there and yeah, there they are. See, mine are covered in I guess some kind of underbody treatment, and completely rusted in there, completely rusted. You can try that. Put some penetrating oil on there for a couple of weeks and keep putting it on every day. That might work. So you can try using a hand impact driver, or Eastwood makes this tool that attaches to your air chisel, that where you can use the tool to impact it and slowly turn it. I tried both those and it doesn't work, so we're gonna have to drill these out, and when it comes time to the body work, I'll probably end up having to build brand new ones. Yeah. So we got one of the doors off by having to drill the hinge bolts. They're just rusted in there and just stripped out. And yeah, and then just bang on the other side with the mallet, and door is off. So we have the fenders all unbolted from the inside of the door jamb and all across the top, and we've got them unbolted as much as we could up here, but there's still one bolt at the very top we couldn't get on either side. So we've got the whole thing unbolted. We're just going to lift it up, and then we're just going to plunk it over. Unfortunately, I don't have a tripod, so today we're going to take off the front nose. So the biggest not the biggest thing. So the headlights had to be removed, and the headlights are held on. There's a little beauty ring that goes around there. The beauty ring is screwed into the bottom, so unscrewing the beauty ring, and then this ring pops off, and then there's a bunch of sheet metal screws that hold the headlight on, and then unclip from the harness, and that's that. The these little side markers, or not side markers, signal lights, they come out. There is inside here. Let's see if we can get a little bit of light on it. Inside there's, it's hard to see me where the flashlight is pointing. There's a bolt there that holds a bracket that holds them on. In my case, those are completely seized, so I've got them unplugged, so they're going to come off, and then I can work on it on a bench. Now the body part itself comes off with these bolts in the center, and then there's a series of 3 or 4 bolts underneath the wheel well from the back. Let's see if you can see those. Yeah, so you can see one's there, another one there, another one buried way up in there, another one way up at the tippy top. I think there's another one at the tippy top, and then it'll just pop right off. Let's see how this goes. So the front is off, and just sitting here, and you can, if you look really closely, way up. Where are they, Jeremy? I'm lost. They're way up in there, just a bolt either side. I can't even see them, they're so rusted up. I'm just gonna cut those off and we'll be good. So here's a little Scout with one door off, and the fenders off, and the front off, and so she's starting to come apart, which is great. I'm going to try and rip off as much of the front bodywork as possible. I don't know, I might, it's hard to say. It's so rusted that when lifting it, it could be, you know, it could just collapse in half here. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to pull apart and what am I going to leave. Well, there was all this plywood here that was lining the back pickup space of the Scout, and so it's not a big surprise, but you know, everything's completely rusted along there. That normally goes on Scouts. All of this along here is completely gone, and along inside of there it's a lot of flat sheet steel, so you know, these are ribbed. That's not a big deal to make up on a roller, and it's all flat sheet steel. These sides covering the tanks look like they're pretty good. The inner top looks like it might be pretty good on both sides, so I shouldn't have to change anything there. The tailgate definitely needs some work, a little roll on the bottom, but the rest of the tailgate seems pretty good, just surface rust. Yeah. Okay, well, starting to get down to stripping most everything off. Master and clutch cylinder are out. You can see the steering column. I've removed it from down below. The dash is completely out. The whole front wiring harness is out. That'll be a lot of fun to put back in. Might have to make a new one. I took the tonneau cover off so that I could take this is a little to activate the PTO, and also the emergency brake. What else? Oh yeah, the seats are out. So just a few more things to go. Gotta get the rear tailgate off. Of course, it's all rusted on. And then start undoing body bolts. Oh, brace the hell out of it, because as you can see, this is, I'll do it with my foot. I mean, this is, you know, how much it moves up and down. And that's not me moving, that's the truck moving with relative to the ground. So it's really quite sloppy. So I'll brace the bejesus out of the whole interior. Maybe might put the cover back on to provide, or tonneau cover, not tonneau cover, the trans cover to put some more stiffness in there. And of course, brace the back tailgate. Yeah, she's a rusty beast. I've got braces bolted or welded on now, bolted and welded on. So one across here, one across the other side there. I've got one here going from here down to the transmission tunnel. That's because this whole area is so rotted away, it's just flopping there. Got the transmission tunnel bolted back on again, and I've got one more brace on the back. I was going to brace it up more, but really it's so out of alignment anyways. I'm going to have to realign it when I actually start to do the body. Yeah, so now it's bolts off, lift it up, and off we go. So there's 9 bolts, or 11 with this guy. Body bolts holding everything on. So there's one at the front here. There is one here where it's not existent anymore. There's the old bracket. One on the opposite side, and then there's one buried underneath, right underneath there. Another one is there. Then there's 4 buried on the back here, right? 1, 2, and then this channel goes all the way through, and there's one buried in there, another buried in there. And then with this one, I don't know if this is stock or not, but they're on the bumpers. There was 2 more bolts holding it on. Both the only thing else I had to take care of is the license plate lights. I guess it was the license plate light. That's attached to the bumper of the frame, so I had to cut it. I think that's about it. So I've got it, I'm doing a little bit more redneck style. I've just hooked 4 ratchet straps to the top, and I'm just pulling it up. It's up at about 8 or 9 inches now, and I've got to get it high enough to clear the gear shift levers, and also high enough to clear the engine. I'm going to rip the carb off so I don't damage it. Yeah, and then I think I'll probably roll it forward, and I'll sit it down on its tail plus a jack in the back, or sorry, a sawhorse in the back. So I'll just roll the chassis forward. Then I'll drop the tub back down, sit it on the tail of the truck, and sawhorse, and then get some guys over, and we'll lift it up and we'll put it into storage till I'm ready to do the body. So what I'm doing here is I lifted it up, I rolled the chassis forward, and then I let the bed down on some lumber underneath there. Then I secured it all back to the chassis again, and now I'm just going to roll it off into the driveway and put the ends on a sawhorse, and then lift the front again up, roll the chassis forward, and put the other end on a sawhorse, and then it'll be ready to put away until ready to do body work. Okay, here we go. We're down to the frame, rolling frame with engine and drivetrain. I got the body sitting off here. I'm just going to lower it down, let it sit on the flats, and then the group of guys will get some 2x4s and do a Roman carry or whatever that might be called, and behind the trailer she'll go. Yippee! So phase 1 is done, which is the teardown.